Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, back with another video to my 500 subscribers Rome 2 tournament. The prize for this tournament is, again, a free Steam copy, that is, of Empire Divided, as it is coming out very, very soon. Well, by the time this video comes out, it will be out already. And we're on to round 2 now, so if you guys haven't seen any of the round 1 videos, be sure to go and check them out. I've put them all together in a playlist. But just to recap, we had HAMDOG versus the Red Celt for the first battle in round 1, and HAMDOG was victorious. And we also had GEARHAWK versus the Hunted, and GEARHAWK was victorious there. Max Laser versus Helix, and Max Laser came out on top. And Grim Guardian versus Moronic, that was a bloody fight, but Moronic managed to pull through in a third battle to secure a round 2 spot. So now we're on to round 2. We've got HAMDOG versus GEARHAWK and Max Laser versus Moronic. So we're going to take a look at HAMDOG versus GEARHAWK, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Alright, so here we are on the battle map, and for round 2 I decided to change up the battle map just a little bit, so we've got some nice grass going on for both of the round 2 battles here. Just to, you know, because round 1 it's nice to have sand, but I'm going to switch it up for round 2, and then for the final battle it'll be a different battle map as well. But we've got HAMDOG versus GEARHAWK here, and the only difference in the rules for round 2 is that now they have 2k more to spend. So it was 12k for round 1, it's 14k for round 2. So a little bit of extra funding, and HAMDOG is over across the valley there, and he is playing as the Romans. And, excuse me, GEARHAWK is playing as Sparta. So we haven't seen Sparta before yet in this tournament. So it's nice to see them. So let's take a look at the Roman Empire over here, commanded by HAMDOG. We've seen them before, so we'll mouse over quite quickly. But we got some Praetorian cavalry, some Soci Equite Extraordinari. On the other flank, we got more Extraordinari with the general and bodyguard. Looks like we got some levies here for the front lines, so he's going to have to get nice and close to use them. And then he's got 3 units of Hastati. He's brought some Principes here, 4 units. And then 3 units of Triarii. And 2 units of Praetorian Guard, and we got some Eagle Cohort right at the back. So HAMDOG, this is a pretty classic formation for him, so he's kind of got his units all spread out in different tiers. Meanwhile, GEARHAWK's forces, take a look at them. So he's bringing some citizen cavalry, obviously, because that's really the standard cavalry for the Hellenic factions. He's got 4 units of Helot archers. He's got some Royal Spartans and some Spartan hoplites mixed in the front lines. And right in behind, he's got 4 units of Spartan pikemen and his general, which is a Royal Spartans. So it looks like the battle is kind of already underway here. I'm going to leave it on slow motion because it looks like we've got the citizen cavalry going to be charging right into the Hastati here. I'm not sure how effective that charge is going to be. You can see that their lances are not down. So the Hastati are kind of able to catch them early on. But looks like the citizen cavalry are going to try to pull back here. And over here they're going to charge into the backs of the Hastati here. This might be a little bit better of a charge. He's just trying to get some early harass off with his cavalry. But unfortunately he's losing both these units here, which isn't really that good. Let's go ahead and put this on play here. Yeah, citizen cavalry, I think they were trying to get for those levies, just trying to deke around the Hastati. This looks like it might be a good charge, though. Yes, it was. Excellent. Really knocking those Hastati down. That was a really nice charge. Most of them will be able to walk away from that. And now the citizen cav is kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place here. Looks like none of the Roman cav is needed in this engagement here, though. And we are pushing forwards with, while GEARHAWK is pushing forwards with his line of hoplites and the Royal Spartans in the front. He's keeping his pikes in reserve, possibly in case there's any flanking around going on. But yeah, the citizen cav was pretty much destroyed at this point, and it looks like GEARHAWK is down to only 2 units of cavalry. But now we've got some Pila throwing going on for the Hastati. Looks like they have been put into some kind of testudo, but their sides are all still showing. So he's going to need to get them to face the right direction. And it looks like we got a little floating man here. Kind of a little glitch. Ever since I've downloaded this new Empire Divided, I've kind of seen a couple of little glitches like that, so I'm not sure if there may need to be a patch that will be pushed or not. Also, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I am experiencing a little bit of lag since that patch came out as well. So I don't know if it's conclusive to just that, but GEARHAWK getting a nice charge with his remaining units of citizen cavalry into those levees. Some Principes are quickly being pushed to tie down the cavalry, and we've also got some of the Praetorian cavalry locking them in. So this has been a pretty big scrap so far. Looks like the Hastati are finally pushing in against these Spartan hoplites. But the Hastati probably will not win this engagement, and it looks like the pikemen are going to be redirected, possibly to defend the rear of his hoplites that are fighting in melee. As you can see, there's a pretty big presence of cavalry on the one flank over here. But GEARHAWK has pretty much lost all of his cavalry now, so that's not very good. His mobility is really crippled as of right now, but it looks like he's going to try to go for these levees here. Getting a nice charge into them as well. That's definitely going to see them off the battlefield, but again, HAMDOG is ready with some Soci Equite Extraordinari to kind of block the citizen cav from, you know, getting any type of reinforcements or evacuating altogether. But yeah, we've got this square set up here, so GEARHAWK is a little bit nervous about all that cav in behind. So he's got his pikemen kind of setting up in front, or in back, sorry. Got a nice charge from all these Principes into the hoplites. And it looks like the hoplites are going to move into hoplite wall. So that is going to tighten their formation, but it may allow for some of the units to kind of get in around the flanks. These Helot archers, too, are firing at the auxiliary cavalry here. Let's see what else is going on. We got a nice charge from the auxiliary cavalry into the flanks of these Royal Spartans. Or this isn't auxiliary cavalry, that's the Soci Equite Extraordinari, my apologies. But yeah, he's looking to exploit kind of any weakness in this pike wall here. You can see he's got his cavalry over here. I would have continued that charge because he would have gotten a nice charge into those pikes, which he did end up actually getting. But he needs to pull that Praetorian cavalry out very quickly. Most of the Spartan pikemen are returning to their feet. Let's zoom in and kind of take a look at some of the fighting here. I really like the fighting between Spartan and Roman just because the colors are so contrasted, so you can really see what's going on the battlefield. But I also don't want to miss any of these cavalry maneuvers here. You can see the general, the Royal Spartan, is moving into a hoplite wall, but that has left a pretty substantial gap for some cavalry to get through, and I think that GEARHAWK realizes that quickly enough. He's trying to push his Royal Spartans through, but the cavalry is caught up by these Helot archers. Really not a good charge there. They're going to try to surge forwards and sneak around the general and get into the backs of these hoplites here. Over on the flanks, we've also got the general bodyguard over here, but now he's caught. Looks like a pike unit was pushed forwards to see if he could block him in, but now he's actually found a gap right inside this little box formation here with the general. He's wrecked those Helot archers, so they are going to break. It looks like Rome is completely surrounding them as well. He's got his Triarii back here. He's got some levies that return from routing, so they are going into the backs of these, they are firing into the fronts of these pikemen. What the heck? That levy was like on the ground and then just like sniped out by a javelin. Oh, Rome 2. Oh, your glitches still amuse me. We've got some more Extraordinary getting right in behind these pikemen here. That was a really good play there by HAMDOG as well. Really breaking up this this little boxed formation here. But unfortunately, GEARHAWK seems to be holding quite strong with his hoplites. You can see that a couple of the Royal Spartans are starting to break over here. He's going to quickly have to block off any chance for these Triarii to kind of get in and around his pikemen. But yeah, a lot of the Roman infantry and cavalry are starting to get pretty depleted, especially fighting these Spartan pikemen in behind here. We got the Praetorian Guard in against the pikemen. That's really not a good matchup, unfortunately, for the Praetorians. They're going to have a good staying power, so they're not going to lose too many in the pikemen. But once they get through, they're going to be cut down pretty quickly. Except for this guy, he's going to get some kills. There you go. But yeah, this hoplite wall is holding strong. And the Legatus is still being annoying, getting some nice charges into the backs of these Spartan hoplites. Even though he only has 15 left in his bodyguard, he's still managing to get some stuff done. We've got the Triarii have sandwiched these Spartan hoplites in between the Principes. But I believe, yeah, I'm on the side of the Spartans, so the balance of power is reflecting pretty even, but the yellow bar is the Spartans. He needs to turn around these pikemen before these Triarii get into their backs. I don't know what they're facing. They've already broken the Triarii in front here. And yeah, more of the Roman infantry is starting to collapse. Looks like the hoplites held for long enough to be able to turn the tide of battle into their favor. You can see it's starting to creep into the Spartans' favor. But then again, this Legatus, or this general and bodyguard, they've just been doing work, really wavering these Spartan hoplites. Kind of down to the last minute of the battle. It's just an all-out scrap here. You can see the Golden Eagle being held high over top of the battlefield, hoping to raise the morale of the few Romans that are left in this fight. But yeah, I think just too many of the pikes are still left for the Romans to be able to do too much about it. And the general's bodyguard, the Royal Spartans, is still very healthy. Meanwhile, the general for the Romans is down to 9 men. And there's only 30 seconds left in the battle, so this will be the last series that will be kind of glitched with the glitch endings, because the other round 2 series and the final episodes were recorded after the update, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I did watch this battle through, and that was pretty close to what happened. I think mainly just the timing glitches, but the Romans eventually do break. So that is a victory for GEARHAWK. So HAMDOG is down 1, and he needs to claw it back in the next battle to force a tiebreaker if he's going to have any chance of moving on. So let's go ahead and check out the next battle. Alright, welcome back, guys. So this is the second battle to the round 2 between GEARHAWK and HAMDOG CDXX. As you can see, HAMDOG is playing as the Armenians, which is an interesting choice. We haven't seen Armenia in before. They have a very powerful cavalry roster and some very good archers and ranged units. But they are facing a Hellenic faction today, the Egyptians. And you can see some of the scythe chariots moving forwards. There's actually 2 units of them, which is a little bit concerning. Most of the Egyptian archers, though, are getting mowed down by the Eastern archers over here. Looks like we got some of the noble spearmen being pushed forwards here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this engagement. Here comes the noble spearmen. These are scythe chariots, though, so they are definitely going to leave their mark. Yeah, just running right through the ranks of HAMDOG's forces, slaughtering a lot of the archers in behind, so there's really no staying power against these chariots. Yeah, they just continue to push through the lines of the poor Armenian soldiers, and this is just utter devastation here. Look at the noble spearmen lost 60 men in that charge. This one lost about 35, but most of the Eastern archers were also wiped out. And the scythe chariots are going to continue on. against these axemen. Now, these axemen do have a kind of a ranged unit, or a ranged pila, so they would have been able to throw, but it looks like the scythe chariots got in there too quickly. Way too quickly, wiping out them, and then they're actually going to muscle right in through the poor general's bodyguard, noble spearman there. You can see he's dropped down quite a bit, and the scythe chariots over on this flank as well, pushing in. It looks like a couple of them are trapped, though. They're kind of trapped in the center here, and they're really being kind of bogged down by the rest of the Armenian soldiers, which is good. But they're trying to kind of reform and push out through the backs now of the noble spearmen that are reforming, which is really tough to see. So we could go ahead and put this on play and just see the sheer speed of these scythe chariots as they ride around. And this... Oh, like, I would be pretty frustrated if this was my army, because there's just nothing to be able to stop these scythe chariots. Unfortunately, the Armenians really don't have very many heavy infantry that they're able to kind of bog down these scythe chariots with. Even cavalry is really going to have a tough time. So just like that, I'd say probably about 40% of HAMDOG's force was wiped out by these scythe chariots, and it's unfortunate that I'm not actually able to see the results to see how many kills those chariots did, but I'd imagine it's hundreds. Meanwhile, HAMDOG has pulled his royal cataphracts that were hiding out of the trees and are pushing them into the flanks of this Egyptian cavalry. These guys are pretty low tier, so they're definitely not going to be able to win against the cataphracts, but we do have some Thurio spears that are trying to join the fight to give them the edge. Over on this flank, we've got royal cataphracts fighting the Egyptian cavalry as well, but not one of them is dead yet. And we got some Persian hoplites over here trying to fight. We also got some of the noble spearmen fighting against the Thurio spears. But again, these scythe chariots are still alive and causing some major problems. And this is when HAMDOG calls a mass retreat of his forces. He needs to get a better position and kind of use up all of the ammunition from his slingers and his archers before he can push in for the final battle. But unfortunately, most of his spears that would have held the front lines have been destroyed. And not to mention, these stupid scythe chariots are still causing a lot of problems for his slingers. Yeah, just wrecking those two units as well. And moving on to this poor unit of hillmen. Just look at that. And that is just insane. These scythe chariots are so overpowered. Like, it's crazy the amount of damage that they can do. Actually, I wonder if I hover over them, can I see? Scythe chariots, 674 kills there. I don't know where the other one is, but I'd imagine it's about similar. And most of the man counts for these armies is about 2,500. So if you imagine that this one got 700 kills, the other one got 700 kills, that's 1,400 men. That leaves like just over 1,000 for HAMDOG to still fight with. So he's redeploying his forces here, but it does not look good. You can see the balance of power is way out of his favor. And yeah, I probably, in his defense, I probably should have put a cap on the scythe chariots at a max of 1. But at the same time, like, the Iceni chariots, like, I feel like you could bring 2 or 3 of them if you wanted, because the chariots do count as cavalry. So GEARHAWK would only be allowed to bring his 2 units of Egyptian cavalry because he's got 2 of the scythe chariots, so they count to the 4 total. But at the same time, Armenia, like, they just don't have anything that's able to stop them. But yes, we could go over here and kind of take a look at these really beautiful, flashy Persian hoplites fighting the Royal Peltas. This is the general for the Egyptians as well. And it looks like he's going to try and pull away from that fight. And maybe just ignore these Persian hoplites for now. Oh, good kill. There you go. Getting some payback. That's what I like to see. Over here as well. Maybe they'll cut down a few of them. Oh, except a couple of them are being cut down. So yeah, here we have it. 15 minutes left in this battle, so this one is a little bit longer. I think I'm going to make a small cut here because I don't think anything really happens as of right now, and we'll pick it up again once the battle starts up again. Welcome back, guys. So here we are. We've got some of the Armenian cavalry, the Royal Cataphracts, really trying to annoy the Greeks as they move into position over here. But unfortunately, a lot of them are being cut down by Pila throws as they move forwards. This unit of Persian hoplites is probably a glitch because they are not moving, so we're just going to ignore them for the time being. But HAMDOG's forces have redeployed all the way around, so they've kind of just switched sides over here. And looks like the noble spearman is pushing forwards. He's finally ready to engage these thorax swordsmen head on. But unfortunately, they are very outnumbered here. Oh, yeah, and a couple of them getting cut down by the swords here. Nice. Yeah, these noble spearmen, they're just not going to be able to stand up against a sworded unit like this. And we got the rest of the forces kind of coming in. I think that it's pretty clear that GEARHAWK has got this one in the bag. I think it's just really due to those scythe chariots. But we got some more kind of charging into the Royal Peltis over here. That was a pretty soft charge, but again, I don't think the replay is being 100% accurate here. But we got a nice charge into the Thurios spears that are blocking the rear flanks. And these Royal Cataphracts are very elite, and they're pretty heavily armored, but they're not going to be able to break, you know, thousands of men, unfortunately. And GEARHAWK still has most of his pikemen in full health, so yeah. It's unfortunate to see because Armenia, we haven't seen them before, but it's just difficult in tournaments to bring Armenia because of the cap rule on Cav. Because they are a very strong cavalry faction. If the cavalry was kind of left open and he could bring maybe 8 units of Royal Cataphracts, they may have been able to get much closer. But even, I think these are their best spear units, the Persian hoplites. They just don't hold a candle to the Hellenic hoplites. And it looks like they may be routing there. Yep, they have routed. And the Axemen have routed. Most of the troops have routed at this point. So there's 2 minutes and 13 seconds left in the battle. I don't think that these men are going to come back. And if they do, it's still pretty clear to see. Sorry about that. That's my video that's being uploaded. It's pretty clear to see who the victory is. So HAMDOG, thanks so much for playing, man. I really, really appreciate it. And GEARHAWK has secured himself in the final battle. So we just have to find out who he's going to be facing. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.